Hey everybody, welcome back to the Factory Reset chat. In this video today, we have actually a big seminar coming up, so I wanted to give you guys a little bit of a history on our affiliation, our early stages of the gym, the struggles that I had, and we had together specifically, and how not only we overcame them, but why this seminar coming up is actually so important to me based on that history. So we have the seminar coming up. We have Dean Lister coming out, and we have our friend Matt, Master Ken, going to be doing his own performance at the event as well. And it's, like I said, it's a really important one for me because this is a benefit seminar. This is all of the proceeds that we're doing are going directly to my head professor, my head black belt, the one who gave me my black belt and who supported our gym. His wife, who was diagnosed with stage 4 cancer, and the cancer returned, essentially. She beat it before, it returned, and now their family is going through a lot as far as, all the treatments, surgeries, and everything else, mental anguish, all of that stuff that happens when you're going through all of this. So the seminar itself is to support as much as we can to give back to their family for as much as they've given us. So in order to kind of explain that a little bit, we wanted to make this video to discuss kind of my history and our history with Professor Kevin Conan Bankins and all of the help that he's given us through the years, as well as why it was so important that he gave us the help when he did and what we were going through at the time as the gym, and why the gym, if he hadn't given us the help that he did, may not be what it is today.
Yeah.
Right. So, and Cassie, I know that you're kind of on the sidelines a little bit with this one because you weren't directly in the gym, but you obviously interacted a lot with Kevin over the years and hung out and visited and whatever. But as far as the business goes, you were there along the ride for the ride, and contributed a lot from the back end. A lot of people didn't really see you as much, just because you helped with the business side of it, whereas I was more of the face inside of it, teaching and stuff like that. So
I don't know why we decided his face needed to be the front of it, but
right, and it's probably scared off more people than it brought in. But I know already, Cassie. I'm having a serious discussion and Cassie's throwing shade over here and trying to insult me and stuff like that. So anyway, to give you guys a little bit of a kind of a brief history on this, and we're going to do another video probably on the history of the gym and how we started it, how it was founded, a little bit of my history in fighting and how this kind of came to fruition, because this gym was never my goal. All right, I was a competitive athlete, a competitive fighter. I was doing it because I loved it, because it was a mental release for me. It was, just like my mental health as well. And I've always been a competitor. And the gym was kind of more or less was an opportunity that was kind of thrust upon me in a way that I didn't know that was going to be beneficial to me. And then it was actually Cassie was the one who was just like, you know what, you should do it. You want this? Do you want to rebuild the thing that we had before? So a little bit of a back history on this. I came from a gym, multiple gyms over the years, and had multiple gyms close their doors for one reason or another, whether it was showing up to class to find a big poster on the door that said basically the bills weren't being paid, or just decided not to do it anymore, and doors were locked, and all of us showed up. And that kind of turned into all of us fighters looking at each other and being like, well, where are we going? And it's like, imagine if you go to Invictus today and then one day you're just like, there's a sign on the door that said, gym is closed forever. Sorry, good luck. Essentially is basically what it was.
Yeah.
And nobody had heard from the head coach. Like, nobody knew what was going on. The head coach had his own mental and substance struggles and whatever. And everybody shows up there ready for practice one day with your gear bags, and there's a sign on the door that says gym's not open anymore. And so all of us fighters all look at each other in the parking lot, and it was just like, well, where do you want to go? Where do you want to go? Like, well, where should we go? And another interloper into the, Nina. heard us talking. At least it's not the cat this time. So we all decided to go to a jiu-jitsu gym and another MMA gym that were up the road that we knew of, and that's what started me on my jiu-jitsu journey. It was actually I was at an MMA gym for years and went into jiu-jitsu. And anyway, so following that, the second gym, kind of the same issue. Was there for years. Got all the way to purple belt, and about a year and a half into my purple belt, and the head coach, who is very notorious online now, unfortunately passed away this last year from his own substance issues, but very notorious online as well, and unfortunately made all of our lineage very muddied because of it. But he ended up embezzling money and from the business stopped paying his bills. The individual who bankrolled the gym was a blue belt who was helping him, who believed in him, got the money for him to open up the gym. The guy took the money, didn't pay the bills, and then all of a sudden sold the gym to another MMA school who basically took it over, moved it, took all the materials, and told us that if we wanted to join, we had to move over to this other gym and start paying him. So big old mess. But in that time is when I actually met Conan. And Kevin came in for a seminar. We were under the Machado affiliation. We were under RCJ Machado, Carlos Machado, and Carlos came out for a belt ranking seminar, and that was the first time that I had actually met Conan. Conan was in Santa Fe at the time, running a school in Santa Fe. He had his own school. He was a black belt under a Hoist Gracie affiliate in I want to say Louisiana, somewhere out there, and he didn't have anybody to go under for his black belt, and he didn't want to go back and forth to Louisiana, and just he wanted somebody local that he could train under and he could improve his skills as well. So as he came out there, our head professor vouched for him, and he received his black belt through RCJ Machado. And a lot of people try to take away credit from Conan, saying that my old head professor, the one that gave himself a lot of ranks and had a lot of really shady stuff going on, was the one who gave Conan his black belt, so therefore his black belt isn't legit. I can tell you for a fact, I was there. Carlos Machado handed him the certificate and the belt and everything like that. I mean, and Conan was already a black belt at the time anyway. It was just his Carlos Machado recognized black belt. So went through that. There were other stripes given that day. There were other belts given that day, and so on. But I remember that specifically. But that's my first interaction with Conan. Fast forward. That gym closed down. I was a little jiu-jitsu and fighter Ronin, going between different gyms, trying different gyms, and
trying to find a new home.
Yeah, trying to find a new home, joining Muay Thai teams, joining kickboxing teams, having those teams move around, and big convoluted story that the Muay Thai group that I helped start, we moved around in multiple gyms and multiple locations, and it was just a big mess. But it turned out that one of the instructors that were at that school that shut down with the embezzlement, the jiu-jitsu school, started his own program when everything shut down as well, and was asking me, and he was a black belt, he had just gotten his black belt as well. He was asking me to come over and essentially help teach, because as a gym owner, it's when you're doing it all on your own, it is exhausting, especially when you're working your full-time job as well, and he was too.
Yeah, because you're there, you're the only coach, you're there for every class.
You're there for every class, and then work a 9-to-5 job, maybe it was like 7 to 4:30 or whatever it was job. You get off of work, you go straight to the gym, and then you have to teach classes until 9 p.m. all night. And then all of the business, the back end of the business, was either done by Cassie helping me out there, or was done by me on the weekends, in between stuff. So I literally had no days off. And working from when I woke up until when I went to sleep at night.
Yep.
And it was really, really hard. I will say, I was beaten up. I was it was hard. I started having some of the other coaches and blue belts and everything, help out and stuff, help me with classes and stuff. But at that time, that's what he was going through. So he asked me, because I was coming in, I was just a fighter, and he goes, "Hey, would you mind helping me with some of these classes here and there? I would be really appreciative. It's just a lot on me and stuff like that." I was like, "Sure, I'll help out." And he was giving me free training in order to do that. So I got to work out with those guys, and in turn, I brought over the Muay Thai crew. And I started the Muay Thai crew at the gym with one of my crew, my coach. And I brought him over and I was just like, hey, we have a spot over here. Like, let's get this going over here. And I was helping teach that because I had a background in kickboxing and everything else. So I was teaching a bit with that. Another coach was teaching with that. And then our Muay Thai coach. But what happened is that black belt that I was helping, he was under a different affiliation. And I'm not going to go around like, bagging affiliations. Everybody's got their businesses. Everybody's got their shit. But when I was approached, there was some shady shit. I don't know why there's always shady shit in jiu-jitsu and shitty shit. Like, I don't know why people can't act honorably in martial arts, but I don't know why it's so freaking hard. It's really not hard.
It's because your name is not as good as my name. So
I guess,
your belt doesn't count because it wasn't given to you by my
it's not even
cool
that.
name.
It wasn't even that. It was the fact that, so long story short, this individual that started this program, the black belt that I was coming over to help with, I was a purple belt at the time. I had been a purple belt for about 3.5 years, 4 years almost at that point. I had just been floating around being a purple belt at that time. And he just up and told us in the beginning of, this is the shady part. It was January, he ran a promotion and he was basically like, hey guys, it's the beginning of the year. If you guys pay me, our beginning of the year promotion is if you pay me 6 months up front or if you pay me a year up front, I will give you the membership at like this discount or whatever it was. It was just like, 20% off, 30% off for the year if you did it up front or something like that. I don't remember what it was. I wasn't really a part of that. I was just there coaching and training. But he ran this and he got about 10 to 12 people, I would say, sign up for this, pay the 6 months up front, pay the 12 months up front, whatever. And by February, he had collected the money, so he taught through January. In February, he told me, hey, Rick, I got an opportunity to open up a school in Hollywood, California under my old mentor. I'm going to be leaving. Basically, if you don't take over the school, I'm shutting the doors. Yep. And at that point, like, I had already started building training partners. We had our Muay Thai program start there, like, and whatever. And I'm like, fuck. Like, so I was just like, well, I had no intention of teaching or running a school.
Yeah.
I was a purple belt. Like what the hell does purple belt run a school for? And like, there's other schools in town that I'd be competing with that have black belts that are world champs.
Yeah.
And I'm like, why am I doing that? That's stupid. Like I'm not qualified for it. Like, I'm a fighter. I'm a competitor. That's my goals. I'm doing fights. I'm competing in tournaments. We're traveling. We have a traveling team. We're fighting all the time. Like I don't want to do this. And then Cassie was the one who was just like, well, you've always missed the old family and tightness of the old group at the old jiu-jitsu gym.
Yeah.
And it was just like, well, why don't you build another one?
Well, you had gained that at this one.
Kinda. Like we had started the process, right?
But I mean, it was already in the works. It wasn't like it was non-existent. It was in the works, but. And
none of the other gyms really felt like home to me. They just felt like a bunch of guys who got together and we fought and then we all went home.
Yeah.
And we didn't go out for fight nights. We didn't have group hangouts or parties together. We didn't travel as a team to go fight. Like it wasn't the tight-knit group, the family group with the good leadership and everything that we had before.
Yeah. Well, so I told you, I was like, all right, well, you got two choices. You can hang on to this and build something and keep that camaraderie, or look for a new home.
Yeah, and go back to being a jiu-jitsu Ronin again. And
be a purple belt for some more time.
Yeah, just go some more years with that, right? So it's just like, well, I guess, I guess I'll try it. But the other thing that happened is that when he decided to do that, remember, he had just done that promotion.
Yeah.
He had sold like 10 or 12 people. It was like $8,000 to $12,000. I can't remember how much the money was, but it was a fair amount of money. And
he just took it.
He just took it and left.
Yeah, didn't care.
And the people that we were renting the space from were like, some of our people had money in that. Like he just took it. He didn't give us the cut to pay the rents and everything that he was due, because they had an agreement. It was out of a Taekwondo gym that we were renting mat space after they were done using it. And the deal was that we had to pay them a percentage of the tuition that we brought in on top of the rent. And he basically took all the money and he ran. Mm-hmm. So they told me, they were like, well, you can either honor the memberships or we have to take him to court and start trying to get that money recouped. And we don't know if we can do that, blah, 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 whatever. And this gym, the Taekwondo gym, isn't any better. I will tell you guys that. They're oh my God. I have different stories about them, and money hungry belt factory shit that they did. But so they basically told me that. So it was just like, okay, well, either I take over the program and, or the whole thing shuts its doors and these 10 to 12 people just lose all their money.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, well, and these were my training partners. So it's like, okay, I don't really have a choice in a way. It's either go back to what I was doing or do that. So I did that, and we took it over, and I was teaching for the year, all of those people for free. And it was a year of teaching 10 to 12 students, and it was only 10 to 12 students. It wasn't very many, but we were teaching them for a year for free. And we were paying not only the renting and the new student, like the stuff that we owed the place for renting the place out, but I was having to pay out of pocket the marketing. I was having to pay out of the pocket the, all of the overhead stuff, the insurance, everything. Right, we were having to pay it out of pocket because he took the money on the first 12 students we had.
Yep.
So I had students we were training for free, and I was having to do my 9-to-5 job. And I was trying to be a competitor at the time, trying to be a fighter while also simultaneously coaching. It was a big fucking mess, right? It was exhausting. It was hard. I was working on the weekends to do it. That's when I learned all of my marketing and stuff like that. And because you had to, because I was a purple belt trying to run a school with black belt competitors everywhere.
Yep.
And it was fucking hard. So at the time I was just like, okay, well, what's my process to get my next belt? Like, how do I rank up? How do I eventually get to a black belt? We went through the affiliation that he was under. And again, I'm not going to, trying not to bash too many people, but
that guy wanted you to fly out.
So that was
we
went under Hops and Mora, all right. And what happened was, and that was a Novo and Yao brand. And I'm like I said, I'm not trying to bash. Everybody's got their business, but at that time, and I don't know if he's changed his model since then, but at that time, I had to fly out to Tampa Bay, Florida, multiple times a year to do private lessons, which I had to pay for. It wasn't for free, even though we were going to be under his affiliation, which is fine. It was $150 an hour, $200 an hour, something like that. I don't remember what it was. And I had to pay him to do the seminar, or to the private lesson twice a year, and then I had to also bring him out to our gym for a minimum of $2,000 plus all of his travel expenses, for him to come out and teach a seminar twice a year. Or I got to alternate if I went out there once and he came out to the seminar once, but it had to be twice a year. And then here's the fun part. That was just to recognize that I was a purple belt.
Yeah, that wasn't even to rank up.
No, that wasn't even a rank. He had to have, he said, I have to build a relationship with you. I want to know, and I want to test your level, and I want to come to your school and see the level of your school and all this stuff, just to recognize that I was a purple belt. It's like, I don't know about you guys at home. I can roll with somebody now and know if they're a purple belt. Like, I can roll with them and be like, okay, you're doing this well, you've defended this well, you attacked me with this well. Like, I can pretty much tell. And if somebody's like, a good wrestler or something like that, you can add that take that into account. You can ask them for like, hey, how many years have you been training? Do you have pictures to verify those years existed, or you just bought a purple belt off of Amazon and trained yourself off of YouTube? Yeah, it's like, but you can tell as an instructor and as a black belt, like I can tell if somebody comes in, if you're a legit purple belt. We've had them come in where you're just like, I don't know who gave you that belt, but I'm not going to be a dick and say you can't wear that belt, but you're going to be a purple belt for a long time because you are not a purple belt. Like you are, I'm sorry, maybe an early blue or a high stripe white. Like, but you are not a purple belt. And you're just going to be wearing that. I'm sorry, but it's like, because it's our name.
Yeah.
But so I went out there and was like, but how many times do I need to meet somebody and roll with him and do an hour private lesson showing him my skills for him to say, okay, I guess you're actually a purple belt.
Okay.
It's not that I'm like, hey, I'm not giving you a brown belt yet. It's just, are you the belt that you are wearing?
Yeah.
That's what and it was like, to me, that was ridiculous. And I'm like, just freaking roll with me. And I rolled with him. We did a private lesson, and you know what he taught me the whole time? We rolled the whole time. And he had me roll out from bad positions. He had me start from this or start from that, had me ask questions, whatever. But we just rolled for an hour. And I was like, okay. I mean, for me, it was kind of fun because it was like, hey, this is a 7-time, 8-time world champion, and I get to roll with him for an hour.
And for me, it was fun because I got to go to Florida and drink beer.
Yeah, right. And and like, I don't even know where you went for that. You just dropped me off and you
I
went.
did. I probably went back to the hotel and worked out, and then I went and found a brewery.
Yes. Anyway, so I did the hour, and then I stayed for the class afterwards, and I actually rolled with all of his guys there, and I would not say that at any point in time I felt like I was out of my element. It's like I was rolling with purple belts there, and I was doing fine.
Yeah.
You know, and I'm not trying to, toot my own horn or anything, but like we had a pretty competitive group back home, so it's like I'm not worried about it. But to tell him that, like, okay, well, you need to come out here, we need to prove it, whatever. And like I just at that time I was like, this is ridiculous. Like I paid all of this money to come out here to Florida to visit this guy for him to tell me that I need to come out to him 2 more times at least and then have him out for a minimum $2,000 seminar for him just to verify that I'm actually a purple belt.
Well, not only was it annoying in the sense of so much work just to be accepted as who you were, but that just wasn't financially.
No, it just didn't financially. I had 12 students that weren't paying me any money.
Yeah, we were already.
Everything was out of pocket.
Barely staying afloat doing what we were doing.
Yeah.
We couldn't afford to pay all of that, so we had to find.
Yeah, and again, this isn't
alternate
anything about
solution.
anything negative
Yeah.
about specific affiliations or Hobson. Hobson was a great guy. He called me, he would chat with me and whatever, just ask if we needed help. Like once or twice he did that. He had a manager that was like all that stuff, but it was the affiliation requirements.
Yeah.
And again, like if you guys are Novo and out there watching this, cool. Gustavo Dantas, met him. He's a great dude. Hobson Mora, and like, they have a shit ton of accolades. It's a great name to be under.
Yeah, it just wasn't a good fit.
Wasn't a good fit for us, and I didn't feel like
too far away.
And it didn't feel like I was just like, man, like this is a lot to do just to be like,
Yeah.
hey, you're actually a purple belt. And this was years ago. This was over 13, 14 years ago.
Yeah.
And at that time, and then the other thing I didn't really like that they were requiring us, and I know a lot of affiliations do this, is we have to pay the monthly affiliation fee to the affiliation, but then we also have to sell. They had a whole DVD set from like, these are the DVDs you need from white to green belt, because they had a green belt between blue belt. It was one of the few affiliations that do that. White to green belt is this DVD set. Green to blue belt is this DVD set, or this set of DVDs or whatever, right? And we not only had to have those, but I had to make it so all of my students, when you signed up at our academy, purchased those. So you had to go through their affiliate. So the affiliation.
They still do that.
I don't think they do. I mean, nothing's on DVDs anymore anyway. Maybe they have like an online program, but you had to think about this as a person watching this. If you signed up at our school today, and I told you, okay, when you sign up at our school today, not only do you have to pay for your belt promotions and all this stuff, but you have to be part of this monthly like online training thing where you have to also pay for the DVD sets, and you have to like learn from Hobson. And they were just like a whole bunch of like online videos that the affiliation had made that you had to also buy into and pay as part of your membership.
Yeah, no.
And it was just like, I'm not going to do that to our people. Like I don't believe in that at all. Like, why am I going to like add that? Like, hey, you have an extra, and it was like $12 or $15 a month or something like that. It wasn't anything crazy, but it was just like it was the principle of it.
Yeah.
So I went home and I'm like, I had a conversation with Cassie. And I'm like, I don't think we can do this. Like, this isn't the way to go. So I'm like, okay, well, who else can we possibly go under? We have, I can look into doing Carlos Machado again, because my lineage was under Carlos Machado.
Yep.
But at that time we had another school with another individual. And I've since made amends with this individual. Like, we're cool now. But at the time he was just like, I own the New Mexico chapter of RCJ Machado, and anybody else who even uses this as a lineage is going to get sued.
Yeah.
So I couldn't even have the logos, even though I have pictures of me getting my purple belt at the Carlos Machado, one of the Carlos Machado seminars, and he signed it, like he signed my cert, and I'm like, hey, you may be ranked under him, but you can't use the name at all in any of your marketing or anything. You can't sell T-shirts.
That's insane.
Obviously, right? It's like, but he gave me my certification. Like, well, I want to go under him and follow that lineage. Like, well, you can't. because he now owns the lineage over here at this school. And if anybody else goes under that, you either have to go under his school as a second part of his school,
Yeah.
or which we had thought about doing, but it was the demands that he wanted also didn't really work for us. But otherwise, we were going to get sued. So I'm like, okay, well, what do we do now?
No.
So then I was just like, you know what? I remember meeting a guy out of Santa Fe who was a really nice guy, and he got his black belt there. And it's like, at the Machado thing, like maybe I'll go under him. So I called Conan, and this was one of my first like personal interactions besides meeting him. And I was just like, hey, this is my name's Rick. I knew you at Randy's school and whatever, and like this is my situation. I talked to him, and he goes, hey brother, like he always does. He's like, hey brother, yeah, sure, cool, come on, like come up to my school, like let me train with you a little bit, let me see what your level's at, whatever, and we'll kind of talk about it and we'll go from there.
Yeah.
And that was my best impression of Kevin, by the way. So we go up to Santa Fe, and I went up probably 2 or 3 times, did privates with him, and he just tested me on stuff. He was just like, let me see you demonstrate this. Let me see you do that. Let's do a warm up. Let me see you like whatever. I went through it, and he was just like, yeah, you're legit. And he goes, keep running your school. I will be your head black belt for a little while, and or for the time being. And I paid him briefly. I paid him an affiliation dues, and then after a little while, he was just like, you know what, you're my brother. Like don't pay me that. Like he goes, you don't owe me anything for doing this. I just want to support you.
Yeah.
And that was, to me, that was just like, holy shit. Like there are people out there who just want to help you.
Yeah, that just want to be
just want to help you because
the world
just because he wants to help you.
Yeah.
And at first he did charge me an affiliation fee, but at the same time, like I get that he didn't know who I was. He didn't know what my like if I was going to tarnish his name or whatever.
Yeah.
And then after he got to know me, then he was just like, nah, don't worry about it. Like put it towards your fees, put it towards your stuff like that. Because I mean, I was teaching the school, and I didn't have like I had new students coming in here and there, and but it was difficult.
Yeah.
So we went under him. He was running into the same RCJ Machado stuff that I was, and like because he couldn't. Because the one school took over the affiliation, so he's just like, okay, well, I either have to go back under my old school, or he called another friend of his, and he went under a guy named Todd Nathanson, who who I'm directly under now as well, and he's out of California at the Academy de Jiu-Jitsu in California, and that's fine. It was great, but it was a weird roundabout story because I didn't have anybody to go under. And for a long time, I was just like, I'm just a lonely purple belt trying to run a school, and I have no head black belt over me. And we're trying to process this all, and we're paying thousands of dollars to go out to get people to tell me that maybe you're actually a purple belt. And I'm like, well, what the hell? Like, what is this? And Conan was was the first guy who was just like, hey, I'll back you up.
Yeah.
And let me help you. And then from then he was also a mentor as well. Like, he gave me some of my first like, hey, when this happens with students, you do this. Here, this is how I operate my school. This is how I run things. This is my back end kind of stuff, like how I organize my lessons, how I do all this. Like he was giving me a whole bunch of information.
He was a true mentor.
Yeah, he was a mentor to help me when I was just winging this shit.
Yeah.
And I had been winging it for over a year at that point, or about a year and almost a year at that point.
Yeah.
And then slowly, like within that year or so, he was just like, yeah, I remember when you got your purple belt. I was there for that. Like because he was part of that same seminar.
Yeah.
And he goes, yeah, you've been a purple belt for a while. So let's get you a brown belt, like let's test for it. So I tested with him. He gave me my brown belt. And then 2 years later, because the affiliation has a minimum of 2 years. 2 years later, I opened up what is the now Invictus location that it is.
Yep.
And that was in 2016. And the week that I opened that, he came out for a seminar and he gave me my black belt. And I just remember it was like hugely impactful for me because I didn't think I would get there. And if it weren't for him, like supporting the gym, like how would we have done it under that other affiliation or any other affiliation that was going to charge us that much, require that much of us as a purple belt in a city like Albuquerque where you have fight gyms all over the place.
Yeah.
And trying to run a school and then trying to tell me it's like, hey, you have to pay $2,000 a month plus you have to come out here once or twice a year. It's like, I'm not rich. It's like, and I don't have all this time. Like I'm a 9-to-5er at work. I'm married. We didn't have a family yet. We didn't have kids yet, but still and I was just supposed to just leave my school to the blue belts that were teaching, to help me out. And then while I ran out to like a couple times a year and then brought Hobson in for $2,000 to teach a seminar, which I get, like, is he worth $2,000 to teach a seminar? Sure. He's a 7-time, 8-time world champion.
Yeah.
But for a school with 10 to 12 students who aren't even paying because the other guy ran off with them, I'm like,
wasn't gonna survive.
What the hell was I gonna do? Like, oh, okay, let me just 10 to 12 people pay for it. Okay, the $100 seminar, $150 seminar, I would have barely, maybe, almost broken even.
Yeah.
To have him out if I got the 10 to 12 people to pay for it.
Well, that wasn't including travel, so
Yeah,
there's
not even-
no way we would have broke even.
No.
Unless you could get students from other schools.
Yeah, and maybe, and we might have been able to do
gotten
that.
a couple here and there, but it wasn't going to be.
So who's going to go to the Taekwondo gym to learn from, and it was just a hard overall uphill battle because there was actual gyms with actual names right down the road from us, and we're out of a Taekwondo school with the big Taekwondo letters on there, and we're just kind of like occupying a back corner of the mat, trying to bring out people to run this.
Yep.
And it was just like, what the hell are we, like, how do you do this? So yeah, it was a hell of an uphill battle. And there was a lot of weekends and nights of just like, what are we going to do? Like, how are we going to do this? Like, how are we going to keep this teaching going? Like, how do we keep bringing people in? Like when there's all of these other competitors. So I learned a lot of marketing and I learned a lot about business branding and stuff like that because you have to.
Yeah.
When you're competing with the top schools around the area, big names, Gracie schools, stuff like that, all around, and you still have to try to bring people and compete with them to bring people to you, there's a lot of things that you have to do. And there's a lot of back end, there's a lot of networking, there's a lot of marketing, there's a lot of stuff that you have to do if you're going to survive that. And we had to learn it.
Yeah.
We had to crash course, jump in the deep end and learn it. And maybe we'll go on a different video and talk about some of that stuff. But Conan stepped up and helped significantly in that. When I didn't have anybody, we didn't have anybody.
Yeah.
And he didn't ask for anything. It was just like he wanted to get to know us. He wanted to make sure we were legit. And then he's been a great friend. I call him all the time. He calls me all the time. It's just like, hey, brother, how you doing? What's going on? What's new with your school? What do you need? Do you need any help with anything?
Yeah.
And it just is always like that guy who's just there for you.
Yeah.
Always has your back and just and throughout the years with the affiliations and getting run through the mud because of that old school and the black belt that was given him. And then having to hear people trash Conan and me and other people online because of that old school and being under that affiliation.
Yeah.
And it's just like, man, I don't want any of that to happen to him because he's been nothing but good to me.
Yeah.
And he's been burned by other schools. He's been burned by other black belts who he did the same thing for. And as soon as a better opportunity came up where they could make more money, they went under a different affiliation.
Yeah.
Or he gave them a black belt, and because somebody else recommended them, and he was just like, you know what, I'm going to support them. I'm going to go out on a limb here. And then they ended up trashing names and whatever. He's been through a lot because he's a genuinely good, caring individual who wants to help people.
Yeah.
And when you're like that, unfortunately, in this industry, you get a lot of people who are out there just screwing people. That's why I don't understand why honor can't exist in martial arts anymore. I don't.
Which is so funny because that's where it initially stemmed from.
Well, it didn't stem from it, but it's based around
it. Was
right?
based
Martial arts is based around respect and honor and martial character or martial arts character and all this stuff. And it's and how can you just treat people like that and be such a user and shitbag? So that's why other affiliations have approached us since our gym got bigger and trying to go under us, that we could go under and trying to steal us to different affiliations. And I'm 100% nope, I'm under Conan. And even with our IBJJF affiliation now, because Conan is not under IBJJF, he was under Nathanson, who is a Confederation of Jiu-Jitsu, which is like a different branch of the original group. So we're not IBJJF. We went under an individual, and this guy's great too, is Walter. He runs the Cascal brand as well out of Vegas. And he told us like, hey, like if you put my banner in your school, you rep Cascal at IBJJF, I'll sign off on your belts. Like you just send me like your certificates, like when you got like your belts so I can verify. And he's been really great help to us too. But at the same time, like I would never trade Conan.
Yeah.
Like I would never leave that because
I remember
he's the guy who helped me.
Yeah, well, you even called and had a conversation with Conan before you even approached
the Cascal
thing.
And Walter's great, and Walter's been really awesome and super helpful. But and he respected it too, because I told him, I'm like, hey dude, like I'm under Kevin because he's the guy who's had my back.
Yeah.
You know, he's the guy who's always made sure that I had everything I needed. We had everything we needed. Like, Conan would come down. I mean, think about this. Like, as if you're watching this, you're part of a different affiliation. Think like the average seminar cost is between $1,500 to $3,000, depending on who you bring out, right? Yeah. And you have to recoup that from charging your members $100 to $150 a month, or $150 for the seminar to show up. Otherwise, the gym loses money, and then hopefully, you know, the gym can sometimes get a little bit from that to boost up some stuff, like pay some extra bills or whatever, right?
Yeah.
But Conan would come down and teach a 2-hour seminar during the week or on the weekend, and he would charge everybody $10.
Yeah.
Just to cover his gas.
Yeah, just to
come down from his 1.5-hour drive, because he moved to Los Alamos, and he was just like, it's an 1.5-hour drive each way. We'll charge everybody $10. It'll cover my gas, and I'll teach and he's like, you know, a 3rd or 4th degree black belt.
Yeah.
And it's like, how many other 3rd or 4th degree black belts with his history that have been fighting for as long as he has been in movies? He was in The Longest Yard with Adam Sandler. He played a security guard for like the prisoners. He was in different movies. He's been in different, like, he's trained. He has old pictures fighting at the original Jacksons. Like, he's been around and done all this shit. And it's like, and you're bringing that guy out and he's charging people $10 just to pay for his gas money to come down and teach a free, like, 2-hour seminar.
Yeah.
And it's like, that's just the kind of guy he is. So when we heard about this with his wife and his family and everything, I'm like, no, we need to do something. Like, all the proceeds are literally going back to support that. And that's why it's so important for me to tell everybody in this, like, please come to this, please support, please donate, please do whatever you can, because this is the kind of person that you are supporting.
Yeah.
You know, this person who had nothing to gain from taking me and our gym under that wing, and he did it anyway.
Yeah.
You know, and got trashed through the mud through affiliations and everything like that. And he was just like, you know, we'll just keep on going, and we'll just keep on building, and we'll just keep on helping people and growing and whatever.
Yeah.
And it's just like, that's the person he is. So that's why this seminar is so important to me. And I really hope that we get a huge, huge group of people, and we just keep doing what we can to help the individual who helped us.
Yep.
So that was a little brief history. We'll probably have different stories like this from the years and years of our gym, but that was just a brief history of the affiliations and kind of a little history of what we went through and how Conan helped us. But so hopefully we'll see you. This is August 9th, this Saturday, August 9th, for the Dean Lister Master Ken seminar supporting the Bankins family. Yep. So we'll see you guys on the mats. Take care, guys.